I recently released this video extolling the virtues of having a big display for your sim. In that video I demonstrated the Tobii Eye Tracker 5. So just how good is that device on the big screen? Welcome to the Sim Hangar. My name's Mark. Thank you very much for watching, and let's get started. One of the questions I've been asked many times is how well does the Tobii Eye Tracker 5 work on a large monitor or big screen TV? Well, in today's video, I hope to answer that question once and for all by demonstrating it on my 48-inch Asus OLED monitor. But first, let me clear up one misconception. The Tobii Eye Tracker 5 tracks your head and your eyes independently. Here is my Tobii Eye Tracker 5 mounted below the monitor, held magnetically, and it has two IR sensors, one on either side, and that's what tracks your head. In the center here it has a camera, and that is what tracks your eyes. For head tracking, there's no limitation in terms of the display size. It will track your head regardless. The only limitation applies to your eye tracking, and officially Tobii say that's about a 30-inch monitor or thereabouts. In my experience, however, it's much larger, and I'll be demonstrating that. If you'd like to know a little bit more about the Tobii Eye Tracker, then check out my initial review here, as well as a follow-up video I did giving you a suggested starting point for your configuration settings in Microsoft Flight Simulator. So today we're going to be testing out the Tobii Eye Tracker 5 on this monitor, and we're going to start off by just testing the eye tracking on the monitor here, and then we'll jump into Sim. I've now zoomed into the monitor so you can see it more clearly, and I'm going to start by bringing across the Tobii Experience application, and I'm going to be enabling Preview My Gaze. And what that does, it provides a bubble that shows where your eyes are looking at any one time. So let's put that on. Just take that off the screen. I hope this comes out on the video. By the way, you may see the Tobii Eye Tracker here flashing in the recording. The actual one, there's no flashing at all. It's just some dull red lights, but it's the way that it records. So I'm now looking, I'm holding my head still, and I'm looking in the center of the monitor at the moment. And what I'm going to do now is just move my eyes. I'm keeping my head still, looking up, looking down, looking to the left, looking to the right, and I can track it. I'm not moving my head's absolutely still at the moment. This is a 48-inch monitor, and I'm getting pretty good coverage with just using my eyes. If I move my head, well, obviously my eye position changes and it tracks that as well. But I think this demonstrates just how accurate and sensitive the eye tracking is. If I just slowly move across to the left and slowly move across to the right, I think that demonstrates it fairly clearly. What you may notice is I'm in a fairly dim lit room at the moment. I've turned off all the lights, etc. Let me now put on the lights and open up the curtains. Let me just do that quickly. Let's get the lights on. There we go. Okay, we are now in a very brightly lit room. So let's get the eye tracking on again. There it is. Once again, looking up, looking down, across to the right, across to the left, looking along the edges of the monitor. And I think it demonstrates that the Tobii Eye Tracker 5 works very well in very dimly lit rooms and also in very bright light. Okay, so let's now jump into Sim and put it to the test, actually flying an aircraft. Welcome to the cockpit. I've got head tracking on, but I've got eye tracking turned off. So keeping my head still, if I look to the left or I look to the right, etc., look up, look down, you'll see that by holding my head still, my view doesn't change at all. We'll enable eye tracking just now and we can see the difference that it brings. It's a matter of personal preference. I prefer to have eye tracking off when I'm flying a smaller aircraft such as this, maybe a Cessna, a Baron, something like that. If I'm flying the Phoenix A320 or PMDG 737, I prefer to have eye tracking on because it just helps me look at gauges that are a little bit further away quickly rather than in a small aircraft where I can more or less see everything just by a small movement of my head. But it really does take you that one step closer to immersion, and you can do cool things like this. For example, let's just open the canopy and you can lean out of the cockpit, see where you're going and so on, very much like VR. And the combination of head tracking and a big screen, it's almost life-size. That's how I feel anyway. It just makes it more realistic. I want to show you the eye tracking, so let's just bring up the control options. We're going to select the Tobii. There it is. All our settings are under sensitivities. These are my current settings that I'm using at the moment. This is the percentage from 0 to 1 that affects how much you move your head in relation to how your view changes, or how fast or slow your view changes actually within the cockpit and seeing the world around you. But let's now enable the eye tracking. I'm going to turn that up to, let's say, 60. I can leave my head tracking there. Done. Apply and save. Let's resume. So now in the same position as before, keeping my head still, I'm now going to just move my eyes to the left and see how the view changes, and to the right, and so on. And again, if I had set this at 100, then the transition from here to there would be a lot quicker. If it was at 20, it would be a lot slower. But I can just glance up, I can just glance down, get a quick view of various instruments, and then back. So that's the eye tracking done by the camera, and the head tracking is done by the two IR sensors. So I can look to the left, I can look to the right, I can look up, I can look down, and so on. Anyway, let's get up in the air and I'll demonstrate the eye tracking. Well, we've just reached cruise. I've got the eye bubble on again just so you can see where I'm looking, keeping my head still, as you can see, looking to the left, to the right, up, down. I can look at individual gauges, look around the cockpit. Incredibly immersive. Flying on the large monitor where the cockpit feels life-size in combination with the ability just to look left and right. And of course, I've got my Next Level Racing HF8 haptic seat pad here, and that haptic pad allows me to feel the sim. It's incredibly immersive. It's probably as close to VR as you can get without strapping some goggles to your face. One point worth mentioning is the distance you are away from your monitor. Tobii recommend anything from 0.7 to about 0.9 of a meter. My distance is about 0.9. Anything more than that and you start to lose accuracy. I think in our test today we've shown the Tobii Eye Tracker 5 works on large displays for both head and eye tracking. I do need to mention that the 109 from Flying Iron Simulations is an absolutely wonderful addition to Microsoft Flight Simulator, but it's a real handful. If you like a challenge and you like your warbirds, this is for you. Tobii are celebrating their anniversary and have a 20% discount available, and I think that's open till about the 8th or 9th of September, so if you're thinking about getting the Tobii, now's the best time to do so. There's an affiliate link below. If you use that, it doesn't cost you any more, you still get the discount, but it does help support the channel. If you're watching this video after those dates, you can still get a discount, which will be around 5%. Thank you very much for joining me today. I hope you found it useful and informative. Stay well, look after yourselves. I'll see you all again very soon, and bye for now.